I'm going to fit 51 years of my passion into 15 minutes. And my passion is, I love to run. And there are quite a few of you here who I can't actually see because the light is very bright. But I do know I have some people who know I love to run. But the passion I'm going to talk about, because I'm actually 64 years old, so it isn't that I've been running since I was apparently 9 months old, because the story goes that I never walked, that I got up when I was 9 months old and I started to run on my tippy toes, and I haven't stopped. So the running's been going for 64 years. However, the 51 years is the competition and the loving to try and run fast. So my passion really is, I love trying to run fast and faster, and I love competition. So I do like running, but I run more when I know that there's an opportunity to try and run fast. And this began with the brownies. I don't know if any of you did the badges, but there were the badges which we had to do the athletics badge. And one of the things was you had to run 80 yards in 18 seconds. And I remember getting my dad to time me doing that. And then I got the bug. So I used to get him to go and take me to the playing fields when I was 8. And I would run from one end to the other, and I'd get him to time me, daddy, time me, daddy. And I tried to run faster and faster and faster. And then the competition, when I started properly going into competitions, I was 12 or 13, and it was the Farnham and District Sports. And then I've got a picture, and in fact it does look, this picture, and big, to be honest with you, I look like I've been trying to run fast for 51 years, because this was this summer on the track. And I love track running. So I started out running on the track when I was 12 or 13. When I was 14, 15, I got into Surrey School sports, and I knew I wanted to run better and faster, and I knew I wanted to run for England. So I joined an athletics club. But there was only an all-boys athletics club, and this is another story, which actually we've just been talking about the other story, which is the boys I've known, and the passion for boys. That also began when I was 6. So the running started when I was 6, and I was just saying, actually, this is a slightly segue, but I said it all started when I was 6, because I was trying to run fast at the Brownies, but also I was at a junior little nursery school at the rectory, which was a kind of church school, and I fell in love with the curate's son, the second in command in the church, and I used to like playing trains and touching him, so I got him in the... Anyway, so he would be... I'd make sure I was where you could put your hands on his hips. Anyway, that passion is another story, which I keep promising Tim we're going to talk about. Anyway, I was 15, so I joined an all-boys athletics club because there was no way I could get to any other club. I was ever so posh. I'd just come out of private school, well, I was in private school, and it was all the boys from the local comprehensive. And they took the piss mercilessly of my accent, and they taught me to swear. I'd never really sworn, because this was 1974, and we didn't really swear. It's funny, isn't it? So they taught me to say fuck with a very posh accent, and because they said it every other word. And they also taught me to spit, and that nose thing. But anyway, so there I was, wanting to run for England. By the time I was 19, I had achieved my first international best. So it took me 4 years and lots of trying to run fast. And I had started, there is another barefoot story, I had started on the track. It was a grass track, and I used to run in my bare feet, and I absolutely loved it. And I was always trying to run faster. And eventually, by the time I was 19, I got my first international best. And I then went on and ran at top level for Great Britain and England, all the way through from 1978 all the way through to about 1993. And I'm going to talk, there's lots, obviously I'm trying to fit 51 years of competition into 15 minutes. So I'm just highlighting the middle 80s were my best years in terms of running fast, really fast. The interesting thing is, I love trying to run fast. The actual truth is, I have got faster, probably hitting my fastest in the late 80s. Now I've actually got slower and slower. However, I still love trying to run fast. And I used to envy actors and musicians and people who I thought would be able to go on doing their art all their life. And I thought that maybe I'd have to stop when I was 30 or something. But I've discovered that I can do my art for my whole life. So I have a few highlights. In 1984, I don't know if any of you remember that Zola Budd, she was a barefoot runner, and she came over from South Africa, And she had a really difficult time actually because there was a huge amount of politics and all this going on. But she was running very, very fast, and there was all sorts of other controversy because she took British person's place in the Olympics. All these, well, she was British, but she took some of the regular athletes. However, she ran some amazing runs, and I had the wonderful experience of in 1984, she ran a world record in the 2,000 metres at Crystal Palace, and they had the field. I was not a 2,000 metre runner, but I was a top runner, but I was part of the field that made up this field of runners. And what happened was I probably went through my 800, it's 5 laps. The first 2 laps I went through probably my best time for 800, and then just hung on. But because I wasn't expecting to win or do anything very amazing, I had the amazing experience of all that crowd at Crystal Palace, the roaring crowd, and I was coming into the back straight as she was finishing. So I had this crowd on their feet, the roar of Crystal Palace. I didn't have any pressure, and in the environment of on the track with someone running a world record. So here I have. This is
the British record held by Wendy Sly at 5:42.
I actually am number 14, Jay Gates. I had a different name because that was a different husband. Who I'm with now. And I am on the outside. I can't quite do this. Where am I? I'll show you again, but I'm on the outside.
Very much a front runner. Is a compliment of the pack and gets out.
Now I also have different names, different colour hair. But that is, I promise you. There I am, 14. I had a different name because I had a different husband. And as I say, that's another story, the husbands I have known. But I also had orange hair because I'd won, it was Christmas, and I suddenly had blonde hair. Suddenly decided everybody did henna in those days. So I put 2 boxes of henna on my hair that then lasted me ages and ages and ages. So that was an incredible experience. I then went on in 1985, so that, no pressure, I just was running, and I was a good runner obviously, but I wasn't world record holder. Then in 1985, I had the amazing thing, and this is a lovely privilege, I had the wonderful experience of winning a major city marathon. Actually it was in Ireland, in Dublin, and I just had it's a lovely experience, and one that I will not forget, and it's I think. Yeah, so that's me. I also look like I've got different hair. Same name. I'm also with the same husband here. So I come over here. Now the thing is with this, they were just getting the tape out. Also I didn't put my hands right up. They were saying, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. But I had been in Ireland for 4 days. I'd forgotten to take my razor. And I hadn't shaved under my arms. So I remember finishing this marathon, we won 26 miles, being the winner, with them going, put your hands up, put your hands up. And me going, oh, no, I can't put my hands up. That's me out. But that was a very lovely experience, and the Irish were amazing. And I then had to go, I'd never been kind of locked in, or had a lock-in, or whatever, but they locked us in to a pub all night. So I ran 26 miles. I then did a big speech to lots of people with the male winner. And then they said, come on, we'll go into a pub. And then we stayed there the whole night and told stories and things, but it was good, really good fun. Then, in 1986, so I have the triumph, I had the wonder of that. I went on to, I ran 2:41 in that race. I then went on to get fitter, and in 1986, beginning of 86, I ran the London Marathon. I was the 7th female runner. I was the 3rd British finisher. I ran 2:36, which is my best time. And I got selected for the Commonwealth Games. So it was my peak experience of my greatest success. It also, this is me. There we are, I'm number 7.
New Zealand, certainly a contender in the event. And perhaps Lorraine Moller, number 8
sure
there.
Whether, I think we come out to line up.
Martin, certainly in terms of previous
this is in
performance,
Edinburgh.
she must be seen in that light.
Oh, there I am.
And there's also a good reason for that.
So I'm looking a little bit worried. Because I was injured.
The sun's out.
So I'd gone into that race, and I walked, I don't know if you know Edinburgh, but there's the meadows, and I'd been staying with my brother who lives in Edinburgh, and I'd walked across the meadows in the morning, and I had gone alone to the start of the race, and I was crying because I knew that I was carrying this injury that I'd been carrying through the whole summer. I was super fit, but my body wasn't up to it. So I ended up having, and as you see, I don't look like I've got a good race in me. And I stopped at 20 miles and I watched my dreams go on the road without me. And it was very hard. I was 27 and it was everything I'd ever dreamed of would be doing this thing. But I do remember my brother, and he was so right. It took me a few years to really hear him. But I'd had friends and family and everybody was there, obviously, and because it was in the UK, it made it more, more people. And so we had a dinner afterwards, and I'm brought up in a way with a private education to be okay about things. So I was putting on this brave face, and my brother took me quietly aside and he said, "It's all right, you don't have to be okay about this." And then at dinner, he said, "It doesn't matter what Julia's done today, what matters is she's brought us together." And I knew he was right, but I took some time to get over it. But of course I did, got back, got running again. By a year later, I was part of the British team that ran in New York, and we came second or third team, can't remember, long time ago. And I did learn a lot. I think it was one of my most growthful times, because I'd been very, very driven, I'd been pushing myself all the time, and actually I really started to reflect and go, this doesn't work, and to become much, much more quiet, much more meditative, much more, I'd always been very aware, but I became much, much stiller. And so it was a really good thing for me. It made me a better coach, a better person, all sorts of things. And also, it taught me this, which we all know this poem, well, I don't know if we all do, but, you know, Rudyard Kipling, "If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, yours is the earth and everything that's in it." And I really have learnt that I have, in anything in life, we're always going to have times that we succeed and times we fail. I think sport's a very obvious and easy metaphor, because it's so, you know, with running, I've had so many good runs and so many bad, that you actually, you know, of course, and it's out there, you're exposed, and being a good runner, obviously, I've always been slightly in the public eye, not as much as obviously really world-class people. But I really, really did learn that. And I know my dad read that to us. He was a big poetry man, and I had lots of poetry read out to me when I was little and grew up on it. And so If was read to us as little girls. And he was very much a man who taught us that being a better person was more important than anything. But to actually learn it, to actually learn that that's the absolute truth. And as the years went by, I went in a cycle of really knowing that what I really wanted was that joy of me as a little girl when I was trying to run fast, daddy time me, trying to get to be the best I could be, trying to run fast times. And then in my 20s, during all that time, there had been, pressure had mounted, and I wasn't as joyful or as free. And so I really, especially with that failure, I really learned to go, I've got to get that back, that freedom where I just go for it, and I'm not attached to the outcome. And so I really did work to know that, I can't remember, let me read it. When we detach ourselves from the outcome, become free from fear and anxiety, and open to the infinite possibilities, we open. I would open to the infinite possibilities of the universe. And that was something I knew, because I knew that joy of my child within me, that was so free, so fearless, had gone up to an all-boys club, didn't mind being completely beaten by them, teased by them, all of that was in me, and I knew it was the spirit of the truth of me. And so I really kept going with my running. And then actually in my 30s I did less, because I was working at corporate level. I'm a coach of life and all of that. And so I was working in the 90s, I was working with everybody, with financial people, because they'd all crashed in 93. But then at the end of the 90s, I thought, there's something I want to revisit. And I came to Eastbourne, so I have friends here who I've known for many, many years. And in my 40s, I thought, right, I'm free of all this stuff. And I wrote a book, and I wrote all out the stuff, the stuff I'd learned. And then when I was 44, I was the fastest runner in Sussex outright on the road, from 2 miles to the marathon. But I was running free again, and fearless, and full of the joy I'd had as a young person. Anyway, on we go. I've got lots of stories, as I say. I can't see the time actually, but because of my eyes are with the light. But there's lots happened. I've had stories. I ran barefoot across Spain in my 50s. I've been a digital nomad running the world. I've got many, many other stories. However, we now come on to, I'm now, as I said, 64. In a year or so ago, I thought, let's see. I put my shoes back on to run. Let's see what I can do in my 60s. Because I thought, if I was 23, I'd be thinking I had 10 years ahead of me. So I thought, well, I'm 63, let's start a 10-year career. So I've been having a really, really fun time. And so I've gone, I've found out, of course, the running race never ends. And who knows what's ahead now in my new 10-year career. And this was this summer. So this was Midsummer's Day. And there I am. So it's just, and then we're all veterans. We're all over 40 at least. It's the Veterans Athletics Club. It's their championship 5,000 metres. And there I am, still on the track, still doing what I love. And I just thought, who knows what's ahead? Because then also, this was in June as well, I think.
I'm Brian Tarpon. I'm third in the women's division. Loads more heading through. Look at the determination. Look, Julia, you smashed it.
And so that was in June, and I think I was fourth in the race, and I win all the over 60 things, so it's quite fun. So I'm going in and everybody's going, oh, it's amazing, you've run the over 60s. And as I said, the truth of the matter is that actually I'm running slower than I've ever run. And it was funny, at this particular event, there was a sign up, and it was saying, what did it say? Your warm-up today is going to be your race tomorrow. And I was saying, well, I'm the other way round. Because I'm the other way round. They're doing a thing, I'm a bit dyslexic. They were doing a thing that's saying, you'll get faster and faster, and what you're doing today is going to be, your race tomorrow. And I thought, actually, what I race now is what my warm-up was. But I don't mind. I love it. I get the same joy of seeing what I can do. I get the same joy of running and doing in intervals, even though the intervals are miles slower, they feel the same. And what I love is just everything, the possibility. Also, the 24-year-old lives inside, and she's going, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, we can do faster than this. And actually, I'm quite happy with her living there, because she isn't horrible or anything. She just is absolutely sure that we can run as fast as we did. So that's quite a good coupling, because I'm going, well, doesn't matter, does it? And she's really, really sure we can. So between us, we have such a good time. And also something I've started doing. What's next? Oh, yes, they do age grading now. So in the olden days, they didn't do age grading because nobody old ran. And so now, if you can run quite fast and you're older, you get a grade grading. And so I keep, inverted commas, winning races. This was actually in St Leonards. I haven't actually run a park run in Eastbourne, or else I will have to come and do one. But so I keep going to being like the fastest person in the thing, which is fun. And again, it's all part of just this community. Parkrun actually is awesome. Also, another thing I started doing, my husband encouraged me in March. I started a YouTube channel, and so I go around, and at all the races I go to, it's actually encouraging me to run races, because all the races I go and chat to people, and they're all part of my YouTube channel. Tracy was in it yesterday, because Tracy and I went to Dan Garbett, who's an Eastbourne man. We did his 6 a.m. running, and then Tracy suggested a dip in the sea. So you must watch. If you go on Run with Julia, my YouTube channel, you can see Tracy and me having a skinny dip, because we did all the running, and then she said, let's go for a skinny dip. And I said, I'm not sure about this. I haven't been in English Sea for 10 years. Anyway, I said, well, if we're going in, why are we going to keep our clothes on? Because I want something dry to put on afterwards. So essentially, I think all I'm saying is it's such fun. And what always was fun for me was trying to run fast is fun. I totally understand it's probably not fun for everybody, but it is doing the thing that I properly love, and I'm still able to do it. And even though this body doesn't run as fast as it did, it loves, loves, loves trying to. So that is my Bavrad.
Wonderful, wonderful. Julia Taylor, that's fantastic.